Across the Fence, a screenplay written, produced, and directed by a Vermont 4-H'er. And later, we'll take a look at a breed of cow that's older than Vermont. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. At the core of UVM Extension's 4-H program is learning by doing. 4-H's hands-on approach to learning is well known in agriculture, where sharing, caring, and showing animals is a hallmark of the program. But today's 4-H programs extend beyond the traditional offerings to best serve each and every young person. With that in mind, I want to introduce you to Garrett Hastings. Garrett is a member of the Homestead Hippies 4-H Club in Chittenden, Vermont. Through 4-H, Garrett has written, produced, directed, scored, even appears in his own screenplay. Welcome, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
This is so exciting. Now, your screenplay is called The Undersiders. What is The Undersiders, or who are they?
Well, The Undersiders is a screenplay I wrote that takes place in 1962 about the lost colony of Roanoke. And it in the story, these 8 kids come together and they try to free the lost colonists from a curse. And it takes place on this fictional lighthouse I created called the Dare Lighthouse Inn. And now an undersider is someone who is in the background, really is kind of like a metaphorical ghost. And in the story, the metaphorical ghosts come together with the real ghosts to try to break this curse.
Excellent. And so how did you develop this story?
Time. I started about 2.5 years ago, and I started by just basing off what plays I've seen, just kind of in that kind of format. And then I came across some books and this program, Final Draft 9, and that really helped me format it and bring it together. And I just kind of started writing. And
it's a lot of research that went into it.
Yeah, it really was. I did a lot of research on the lost colony of Roanoke. I found research while doing that. I found stuff on like the Civil War, battle happened there, pirates. Blackbeard apparently had a whole thing there. There was also on the since it's in the 1962, a lot of stuff in the terminology, and also a lot on lighthouse to try to make sure I had the perfect lighthouse to go with my story. Now
you have a lot of different ages of people who helped in the production. What was it like to work with all these different people?
Well, I had a lot of time with more of the younger kids than I did the older kids. The adults, I didn't really have much time at all. The reading was the time when they all came together for the first time. So it was interesting, but it was good that it went smoothly. But during my time, I had these after school time with the young kids. I had classes. I like classes. What do we call it, enrichment classes? It's kind of towards the end of the day on Thursdays. And I had middle schoolers, a couple of freshmen, a junior in my class. And
so when we talk about 4-H learning by doing, what skills did you learn by doing this project?
Well, yeah, this project was all about learning by doing. I wrote my own screenplay, I wrote my own score to it. I had it all recorded and stuff thanks to my IB program, actually. And I was able to film it all.
Incredible.
Film it with the help of some other people. I had GNAT cameras going in there and my own little handy cam. And
so now what's the future plans for the Undersiders?
Well, I want to continue writing. Like I've done these characters for about 2.5 years. You can't just let them go. So I want to eventually film the whole thing. I want to write a sequel or something,
And so tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing next year.
Next year, I'm going to be over at Cornell working with documentary filmmaking, doing some biology things. If I have time, I'll see what I can do with this project. And
any advice for kids who might be watching this, or parents who have children who are interested in plays and so forth, in doing a project like this?
Well, if you want to write, if you have an idea, write it down. Really go for what you have in your heart, what you have in mind, what you really want. If just go for it, really.
Write it down and start the project.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to get lost in your world, to get lost in the characters. There's been the longest time I can literally like telepathically, of course, whatever. But like talk to the characters and understand them. And at some points, the characters wrote the story for me, as opposed to me writing the story.
That's fantastic. Well, if you're interested in seeing the Undersiders, Garrett has set up a Facebook page. You can find his work by going to facebook.com, The Undersider Movie. Again, that's The Undersider Movie, which can be seen on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in our next segment, it looks at one of the oldest breeds of cattle in the world. The Devon breed was noted by Julius Caesar as far back as 55 BC. see. If you've never heard of Devons, you're not alone. In fact, this uncommon cow almost became an historical footnote. For more, here's Across the Fence's Keith Silva.
If you look on the Vermont state flag, there's a cow on the flag. It is a Devon that's on the flag, and it's been on there forever and ever, and I don't think anybody knows it.
Devon cattle are stitched into the Vermont state flag and woven into the fabric of American history. Devons were first brought to North America by the Pilgrims in 1623. The hardiness and versatility of the breed made them a favorite of colonists like George Washington, who used Devons to plow fields and to provide milk and meat. And when it came time to cross the 2,200 miles of the Oregon Trail, it was Devon oxen leading the way.
Come on, come on, come on!
For Jeremy Michaud, agriculture in the Northeast wouldn't be agriculture without Devons.
All of the open land in New England was harvested using draft power, and these guys were hitched to that yoke. That's how colonial folks did it, was with these guys. And then they took them home, they unhitched them, they milked them, and fed their families. You know, there's a lot of power in that statement, and there's a lot of power in the breed as a result of that.
In spite of their legacy, Devons fell out of favor once the engine of the farm went from animal power to gasoline and diesel. By the mid-20th century, farms had become specialized, producing either milk or meat, but not both, making Devon cattle nearly obsolete.
How long have Devons been in the Clark family?
Since 1627, every generation.
Ray Clark is the director of the American Milking Devon Cattle Association.
I don't care what color they are, I like cows. All my whole life. I grew up on a farm and I like cows. But my preference are Devons because of their temperament, their longevity, their parenting ability. They're great animals. Old timers always said about Devons, they'll get fat on a flat rock and you can't kill them with an axe.
Is it true?
It's true. They're just tough as nails.
The Devon's hardiness, resiliency, and versatility have caused a resurgence in the breed with a new generation of farmers.
This is an ideal animal for the local food movement, the homesteader who's looking to support or feed their own family at home. They want to have an animal on the farm that can provide them meat, milk, graze a certain amount of ground that they have no use for, and can basically consider themselves a farmer without the true expense of being a farmer. Of owning heavy equipment and managing people and cattle and shipping milk and all that stuff. You could support a small family with one of these cows.
Devons are classified as a heritage breed because of their legacy. The Green Mountains and valleys have always been a home for these animals. And Joe Emmenheiser of University of Vermont Extension thinks it will be again.
One of the main factors is our land base, and the fact that we do deal with limited, fragmented pieces of land and small farms, older barns and other infrastructure, and heritage breeds that were raised in those kinds of situations are still more conducive to that environment.
Emmenheiser often receives calls from people about buying Devons for homesteading. He has 3 words of advice: research, research, research. In part because of the breed's flexibility and because of their genetics. Crossbreeding a Devon to another class of cow can improve the quality of the offspring. According to the American Milking Devon Association, there are about 2,000 Devons in the United States, most of which are in New England. And products made from Devons bring in top dollar.
We've got people that are selling Devon milk for $10 to $12, $14 a gallon. We've also got people that are selling cheese from $16 to $32 a pound, depending on the variety of cheese. My cousin is selling Hamburg for $10 a pound, all right, and can't make enough.
Hey, Bella. You might call this the fat farm rather than the Flack farm. You see how she swung her.
Doug Flack operates the Flack family farm in Fairfield. He specializes in pasture-raised beef, raw milk, and fermented vegetables. Flack sells his own brand of sauerkraut and kimchi. He uses Devon's as the prime fertility source on his farm.
Growing sauerkraut, growing the vegetables, which is cabbage, carrots, onions, garlic, requires really high soil function. If you have poor soil, you'll get poor yields, and the fermentations won't be healthy either. So you need really healthy plants, and healthy plants come from healthy soil, and cattle are the integral part of driving soil fertility, because that's really another core thing. So we have these fermented vegetables full of friendly bacteria that people should be consuming every day to keep their guts healthy. But if they're not eating a lot of grass-produced fat, they're never going to have all the nutrition they need.
Farmers have long touted the health benefits of a Devon's milk and meat. In 2011, the University of Utah did a study on fat levels in Devon milk. The milk was found to contain high concentrations of beneficial fatty acids like omega-3. Increasing omega-3 fatty acids in a person's diet has been shown to protect against heart disease and possibly strokes. For Flack, the vigor of the breed makes them the perfect animal for different and changing climates.
What is really critical on a farm like this is they're super hardy. They're very comfortable at really low temperatures in the winter, and they're okay in really hot climates. You find them all the way in the Mississippi Delta. I'm actually dead serious about the hardiness, their adaptability to climate, soil differences, all kinds of forage, because we're in the throes of climate change. And these cattle have a much higher ability to endure future really radical issues of climate change. In the context of the future, I think they're key, and either as pure animals or crossing them into other breeds to pass on that hardiness, that ability to breed back fat. So they have many qualities that the future will beg for.
As for the here and now, there's another unique aspect to be aware of with Devon's: those horns.
Horns are definitely something that creates thoughtfulness. Yeah, thoughtfulness around Devon cows. But you have to be thoughtful around any cow, because they're, these cows are 1,200 pounds or whatever. They could step on you, or but the horns create a special thoughtfulness.
Mother Nature put horns on them for a reason, all right? People think that they're going to stick the horns in you. They don't. If they're going to hit you, they hit you with the side of their horn. Because the old-timers always said the reason they don't use the point of their horns, they think they're going to get hung up in something, and they can't get out, and they're going to die. They claim animals can't think, but they do. They're extremely smart. Smarter than any other breed I've ever had.
Resourceful, robust, and smart, Devon cattle have marked the history of agriculture in North America. Here's hoping their flag flies for years to come. In Fairfield, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
For more information on Devon cows, here's the website. It is milkingdevons.org. That's milkingdevons.org. And that's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.